They do not believe in downtime, guys. ZVZ, best of 5. It is the upper bracket. There is a lower bracket in this tournament as well. Okay, I want to check one more thing, by the way. Both of them are going hatch first, so it's okay. Somebody said that it doesn't show up on Wikipedia. Let's take a look. Masters Coliseum. Hey, this. If you open Wikipedia.net, it's literally the first tab. And if you click on StarCraft, it says ongoing, Masters Coliseum 7. So it's absolutely there. I don't know why you couldn't find it, but it's absolutely there. Maybe you just have to refresh the page. Maybe there was a temporary bug, but it's there, mate. And obviously you can always find the link in my chat if you just do !B or !bracket. These two have a lot of history with each other. Obviously, Solar ruined Serral's run at the Gamers 8 in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia last summer. That was a 3-0 in favor of Solar. And then, of course, Solar got the best of Serral as well in the WTL Code as Summer playoffs, where he beat him 2 games in a row. And then even beat Reynor. Ah, okay. I missed that one, IndieVix. Pardon my gender assumption. You are forgiven, mate. You are forgiven. Even though we do know that in the Roddy stream it's mostly single ladies watching, anywhere between like 22 and 31, but there's still a small chance that he was a dude. So, I think it's okay. You are forgiven. Identical openings so far, as Serral sending out another drone to go up to 3 bases. Really sad that it's not Clem against Serral. I kind of like ZVZ, mate. I've seen so many TVZs over the last few days, and I'm actually kind of okay with this being a ZVZ. Now, obviously, Serral against Clem is always amazing, but I like it when these two play against each other. The last time we saw them battle it out, I think was in the group stage of Masters Coliseum, right? Didn't they play against each other and Serral won 2-0? Very recently, Serral did 2-0 Solar. I'm gonna assume it was in the group stage Swiss format, because I don't know where else they could have placed. Serral advanced with a 3-1 record. Solar advanced with a 3-2 record, beating Clem on the final play day. Losing to Serral and Classic, I believe it was. Oh, it was a 2-1, okay. Yeah, he lost against Muraz on Solaris, right? Because he tried to take that 4th base in the top left. That is correct, guys. That is correct. For some reason, I thought Roddy was into dudes for the longest time. Who says I'm not? You single, mate? You just assuming my sexual preference? You don't even know what Vicky identifies as, mate. No, I am not. You're not the only one who has assumed that. A story that I shared many times is a very long time ago. I casted a tournament called the Intel Extreme Masters Kiev together with Mr. Bitter. The year was 2011, as neither of these guys is really doing anything too aggressive. So this was not 2011, sorry, it was 2012. Like 2012, January or February, I casted IEM Kiev together with Mr. Bitter. And I was still somewhat new to casting big premier international events. So I did my best, right? I prepared and I studied and I tried to bring energy, hype, and excitement. And I was really wondering what people thought about me and if I did a good job or not. So I typed in my own name on Team Liquid, and I was wondering if there were any comments about the way that I did my commentary and if people liked me or not. And I had like 20 hits out of my search result, and all 20 were in the gay thread. Just a bunch of dudes saying that I was hot and wondering if I'm gay and definitely assuming that I was gay. Nobody said anything about what I did. The only thing they cared about is whether or not I was gay. I was like, well, these are not quite the search results that I expected, but they were very nice to me, so I was like, I'll take it, baby. I consider this a win. Nobody said I sucked, and the gay dudes are into me. That's a win in my book. And Mr. Bitter was sitting next to me, and he was laughing his ass off. He thought it was the funniest thing. Lair attack underway for Serral, as once more, unfortunately, we have a mirror where the person who is spawning in the blue and is in the bottom side of the map is sitting on the top side of the scoreboard, which makes it a little bit difficult to follow these games. Just keep that in mind, guys. And if I start casting the wrong game because I am looking at the numbers at the bottom side of my screen, feel free to correct me. Because this is where I will mess up. We have an Overseer of Solar in the main base of Serral. Serral drops a Hydra then. We all know that Serral has been hurt by the Multa, as we like to call it. Many times he is scouting with his own Overseer. Did he cancel the Hydra then? I think Serral just cancelled his Hydra then. He did not see a Spire, but what he did see is that 3-base setup of Solar, and he sees Solar build nothing but a lot of Roaches and maybe some Ravagers. So Serral says, I don't need a Hydra den, I'm going to cancel that Hydra den, I'm going to build some Spines. Insane scouting by Serral that he can immediately make that call. Serral has made 11 more drones, which means he's down a tiny bit in the army supply, but I feel like he should be able to hold here. If you're so ready for it, if you have such a good read for it, if you're going to start off with a defensive concave and you got spine crawlers on the way, shouldn't you be able to hold? Solar is always a man who plays it with a lot of heart and commitment as he just dives on in there. I think it's a perfect defense by Serral, guys. What a read, man. Holy fuck, Serral's so good. Sends in an Overseer and immediately makes the right calls. I feel like if I was playing this game, I would send an Overseer in like 3 or 4 different bases. And I'm like, that Spire is there somewhere, right? If I'm expecting a Spire, there must be a Spire. And it's like, oh, I'm still going to let that Hydra then finish up just in case. But the man just makes an absolutely picture-perfect read. So we have a tiny pause. Solar maybe having an issue with his camera because I saw him go forward. What happened? A pause. We don't know why. I think Solar had an issue with his camera. Maybe it dropped off or something, or it was bothering him. Now Solar is obviously able to drone up afterwards, but I still think that Serral should be a little bit ahead now because Serral was obviously mining with 11 drones more for a little while than Solar was. Oh yeah, he turned off a light. Something was bothering him, but it is fixed. Still battling here in the center. Obviously both players doing their best to avoid those corrosive balls. Serral now has the confidence to drop a 4th hatchery. Solar was doing the same thing on the other side of the map. So even though that was a perfect hold, this game will go on. And I do think that Solar is absolutely good enough to get the best of Serral in Roach Ravager Wars. The longer the game goes, and if we ever reach it into Hive Tech and we see Lurkers and Vipers, I do heavily favor Serral. And that's not because I'm a Basilisk member or because I'm a Serral fanboy. Serral's just goated in late game ZVZ. No one does it better. Solar knows that. So Solar is probably going to try to avoid that. And just find magic with the basic units where Solar can absolutely go toe for toe with Serral. It's not that Serral is bad in the Roach Wars. Absolutely not. It's just that he's absolutely insane in Lurker games. Solar is going to try his luck here again in the center, but Serral so far has had an answer for every single move that Solar has attempted. Solar is going to try to sneak a couple of burrowed roaches, but Serral went for a full wall-off, guys, in the natural. Serral knew that this was on the board, that this was a possibility, so Serral temporarily went for a full wall-off until he would have detection. Serral's playing incredibly good. This is one of these games, guys, that if I was Solar, I'd be like, oh, fuck, it's one of these days, isn't it? He's just on point. He's just on fire. This is insane. The man went for a full wall-off to make sure that the burrowed roaches couldn't get in until the Overseer was done, and then he would cancel his full wall-off. Both players are maxed out, and there is still a lot to play for Solar, but if I was Solar, I would already feel kind of frustrated. And I would have the feeling that Rogue had once upon a time at a BlizzCon, where it doesn't matter what you do. That boy from Finland is going to have the correct answer for every single thing that you can think of. Serral is now the first one who sneaks a couple of roaches to the other side of the map and obviously snipes the hatch immediately. And is actually going to be able to get away as well with so many of these roaches. Observer is not showing us a massive fight. I don't know why we had a bailing there. I guess the leftover bailing from the beginning of the game. We are looking at 2 maxed out Zergs. Solar is the one who's going to have a slightly quicker hive. As I think he's got roaches, by the way, in the natural in the main base. The Observer's not going to show us. Maybe this is where Solar can make some magic happen, but he didn't pay attention to that army. He's paying attention to the roaches he's got in the natural and in the main base. Serral does have units there, though, in the natural and main as well to deal with it. So that just seems like another victory for Serral. Serral wins the fight in the center and barely loses anything in the main and natural. What Solar does have, guys, is a slightly quicker hive tech. That's like the only real thing that he's got going for himself. Maybe that can lead into some sort of a tiny lurker timing where he's got seismic spines and Serral doesn't. But since he lost the hatchery, I don't even know if he can really afford it. This is actually such an insane ZVZ by Yona. This is asserting his dominance on a whole nother level. It feels that Serral knows what Solar wants to do before Solar is even thinking about it. Both players are maxed out, but this does not feel like a close game because it feels like Serral has been all over Solar for the last 5 or 6 minutes. Had a perfect read, like he can stare into his freaking mind. And before Solar even says, I think I want to go for this, Serral says, alright mate, I've got the right response to deal with that. As he's going to send all of his roaches and ravagers forward, takes a 30-40 supply lead. And Solar did not have the same bank that Serral had. Man, what a game. What a picture-perfect ZVZ by Serral. We talk about mirrors sometimes that it can be a bit more random, that it can be very hard to have the right response for everything, but Serral was mental, and Solar is just going to tap out after he dropped down 40 supply. What a game. What a perfect game by the great Yona Sotala. Slightly longer than a lot of the other games we've seen in the Masters Coliseum yesterday and today. This was actually a ridiculously high-level game by Serral. Did Serral do one thing wrong, guys? Can we think of one thing that Serral did wrong? If you guys spotted a mistake, please let me know, because I didn't see any. And you normally don't say that very often when it comes to a 10-minute ZVZ. There's always stuff you can do better, right? Well, if I look back at this game on Hardlet, I don't know what he could do better. Drink a shot. I'll have a whiskey, guys, for every mistake that Serral made on Hardlet. Which means that I won't have a whiskey at all. Maybe later today, but not yet. One bow actually kind of hit 2 or 3 roaches on the ramp. Unbelievable, Toktaran. The man is washed. He lost an overseer 2 bows. Washed. Doesn't have it anymore. Not my goat. Insane. That's the kind of game that I don't know what sort of a game plan Solar had for this best of 5, as obviously he had like 24 hours to come up with some stuff and figure out how he wants to approach and tackle this best of 5. But if it included more of what we saw in game 1, I would avoid those kind of games at all costs, because this man was on point. In the bottom left side, he was not impressed with his performance. We were. Basilisk Serral. Top right side of ONSYDE, we are looking at the main base of our very handsome and fantastic Korean Zerg, who is going to spice things up here a little bit, guys, on ONSYDE, as we're going to take the gold, and I like it. ONSYDE Gaming's Solar. He lost 2 drones to roaches in the natural domain. Yeah, but we can't even say that that's a mistake if then in return he kills 4 roaches. Like, losing 2 drones to kill 3 or 4 roaches is a good trade. That's not a mistake. But sure, I guess in a perfect world, he would have morphed those drones into spore crawlers mid-air. And then he would have killed everything without losing anything, but... nah. Incredibly good game by Yona. I know I've said it many times, and if you guys don't like Serral, you're probably very annoyed at my commentary right now, but... if he's off his game, I will be the first to say it too. If Solar does things better, I will sing his praise all day, every day. But that was actually just a very high-level game by the man who has taken the 1-0 lead. If you drink a glass of whiskey anytime Serral makes a mistake, you can still legally drive. I don't know if we can truly say that for this entire best of 5. But after that first game, yeah. You'd still be able to drive at this point. Second game, though, guys, is going to be very different. ONSYDE is a weird map, and Solar has decided to take the gold. Serral obviously has played a lot of games against Elaser, as Elaser is one of these Zergs in the European region who loves to do this kind of stuff as well. The finisher title is reserved by Lauri Markkanen. I have no idea who that is, mate. When it comes to Finnish gods, we obviously know Yona, know Kimi Räikkönen, Mika Häkkinen, and Jari Lidmanen. Those are the 4 Finnish gods. The 4 horsemen from Finnish sports. Lauri. You guys have an NBA player? I had no idea. Somebody from Finland plays in the NBA? That's crazy. What team is he on? I have no idea. But I'm curious now. Utah. But Utah sucks. Utah Jazz loses everything, mate. They were kind of good a couple years ago, but I believe this year they really suck. So Serral has gone for the Baneling Nest. Solar is not going for a Baneling Nest, guys. Solar is going to go straight for Roaches. It feels like it's hard to defend your main and the gold at the same time by trying to go for Roaches. And obviously these are going to be slow Roaches, not fast Roaches, because you don't have lair tech. But I'm sure that Solar has tried this build many times and had to deal with Lings and Banes. This is one of these games where keeping an eye on the minimap is going to be very important. Unfortunately, the quality is not that high, because we need to know where these Banelings are morphing. Serral is obviously going to make it incredibly difficult for Solar to figure out where Solar needs to defend. Does Solar need to worry about the gold, or does Solar need to worry about the main? I think so far so good for Solar, but I need to know if there are some Banelings morphing somewhere that can make it into a mineral line. Good morning, slowly. To me, Kimi Raikkonen is the Finnish MVP in F1. Okay, the first two Banelings do connect, guys, but it's only 3 drones. It's really not that bad for Solar. We're still mining a bit more. Serral knows that he needs more. It's gonna be hard, though. I kind of think that the roach count is pretty high. Serral knows that, too, so he's just gonna go for the roaches here. He's gonna go for a full surround. And it is so difficult for the Lings of Solar to participate in this fight, because all the Banelings make life hell. Solar is in a bit of trouble as he's going to lose the vast majority of these roaches and loses each and every single one of them. There are so many Lings and Banes left over. Serral with a perfect call there. You don't go for the drones, you don't go for the spine. No, you just surround all those roaches and you have the Banelings to protect your own Lings. And just like that, the score is 2-0. And what on earth is happening in Masters Coliseum? And when does Serral, you can still legally drive, by the way. If you guys want to take a shot every single time Serral makes a mistake, you guys are still sober right now. This is the lamest fucking party you've ever attended. We're gonna do a drinking game. We'll take a shot every single time Serral messes up. Anybody has a tea? Or some chips? Some bitterballen? I didn't even hate what Solar was doing, and for a split second I started to believe that Solar had survived the scary moment and that he now had so many roaches that he was no longer going to die. And then Serral said, sure, that's a lot of roaches, mate, but I've got like 40 Zerglings. I'll gladly surround them, and I've got my own Banelings nearby to protect my Zerglings. Now you're craving bitterballen? I am always craving bitterballen, mate. If I could eat French fries with mayonnaise and bitterballen with mayonnaise or mustard for the rest of my life, I would gladly say yes. People hype up Korean barbecue, or Thai food, or Indian food. Give me French fries and bitterballen for the rest of my life and I'll be very happy. Round 3, just like that. We are speedrunning again.
Round 3, fight!
Top left side of site Delta. We took a little look at the main base of Solar, who finds himself staring in an 0-2 deficit against the man who's been flawless so far, representing BASILISK, the Finnish phenom, Serral. There was a time, guys, that people were flooding my Twitch chat saying that Solar is the best ZVZ player on the planet and that it's not even close, and he has beat Serral like 5 games in a row, and Serral has no idea what to do against Solar. I haven't seen any of those comments lately, because the last few times that these two battled it out, it's been all Serral. 3-0ing Serral would be impossible. The man did do it at Gamers 8 Quarterfinals in Saudi Arabia, a massive tournament. Solar did 3-0 Serral. But if you look at Serral's performance today, you wonder how on earth did that happen. Thank you to Machi255 for the 18 months, mate. I really appreciate it. 2024 is not Solar's year anymore. 2023 was a fantastic year for Solar. Obviously, finally winning his first GSL and just good runs in almost everything that he participated in. Of course, the playoff MVP of WTL Coda Summer. It was a solid year for Solar. There's something on my monitor, by the way, right on Solar's face. Made him look like he had a mustache. I guess I sneezed at my own monitor or something. According to Wikipedia, MC7 is in 2023. Yeah. According to whatever international football organization runs the Africa Cup and the Asian Cup, was still in 2023 as well. I guess that's all FIFA, right? It's a Dutch classic, guys. Bitterballen really is a Dutch classic. Just like mini cassoufflés. Oh my god, it's so good. And we now have an air fryer. The last thing I probably needed in my life is an air fryer, as I need to lose weight, not gain weight. But bitterballen and cassoufflés out of the air fryer, we have tried it and they've been amazing. That's because Chinese New Year is late. I don't know what Chinese New Year has to... Well, obviously for MC7, yes. But I'm not sure what Chinese New Year has to do with the Asia Cup and the Africa Cup. Especially the Africa Cup. But okay. I actually don't know how to spell it either, mate. But I think it's like cassoufflé. That's close. I have actually no idea how to spell it. That's one of these things that you just type into Google and then Google will complete it for you. I'm terrible in spelling. That cassoufflé was a close one. Google will know what the correct spelling is, mate. I was very close. I was off one F. I'll take that as a win. Serral's going up to 3 bases in a vertical manner. Solar once more, just like on Hardlet, is going to take the triangle. It doesn't change that much. What it does mean is that the third base of these guys is actually pretty close to one another. Did Solar make a bailing nest at all, guys? Because we were talking about snacks. And the fatty in me was getting very excited. And I stopped looking at the production tab. Well, Captain Damage, we just got it maybe like 2 weeks ago, mate. And we made like 2 or 3 things in it. French fries, cassoufflés, bitterballen. All 3 of them came out awesome. And the nice thing about it, compared to a frying pan, is that the frying pan stuff can get very greasy, right? And very oily. It felt, it's obviously not healthy, but it felt healthier from the air fryer. So far I am absolutely in love with it. But ask me again in a couple months and maybe then I have a different answer for you. But so far I'm a very big fan. Solar is going to go old school and make a lot of lings, veins and roaches of hatchery tech. This is the build that he got the best of Serral quite a few times with. When Serral would just kind of drone up, go up to lair, but Serral has learned his lesson and is honestly not being greedy, is not tacking up just yet. I'm kind of concerned here. But this is also not going to go that well. Serral again has a perfect setup. Look at this defensive concave. I think Solar just had enough of this best of 5, guys, to be completely honest with you. I already said it after that first game. Sure, it was just 1 game in the best of 5, but it must have felt to Solar that this was one of these days where you're just not going to beat Serral. And I have the feeling that Solar came to that conclusion, just like we came to that conclusion, because every single thing that Serral has done in this entire best of 5 has been perfect. Every scout has been on point, every defensive setup has been on point. He drones up just a little bit more than his opponent, so he's got that economic advantage, but he's got enough defensive units out. Serral is staring deep into the brain of Solar. And whatever Solar is coming up with, Serral is aware of it. In poker, we often talk about a soul read when somebody makes an insane read. Well, Serral has been soul reading Solar for this entire best of 5. Reynor is up next, guys, and Reynor is going to battle Dark. And he's in the chat saying, these guys are going too fast. Yeah, it is 1 hour and we are about to potentially be done with 2 best of 5s. Solar is going to try one more time, guys, but Serral is still just doing the exact same thing as Solar, but with a slightly better economy, with slightly better trades so far, and this is not going to go Solar's way. A tiny Ling run by, can it get in? No, one single Zergling is going to keep those Lings out. Serral is a god. We tried to do a drinking game. For every single mistake Serral made, we will take a shot. Guess what, guys? I'm sober as fuck. No alcohol today. No fun allowed. Serral is the popo and he shut down our home party. The man just won a best of 5 ZVZ against Solar and he barely made a single mistake. It's ridiculous. One of the best and cleanest ZVZ best of 5s you're going to see in a while. I know a lot of us thought that Serral was going to win. I thought Serral was going to win. Did I ever think he was going to win this clean, this convincingly? No. Mental, a legit A+ performance coming out of Serral. If you're a Solar, that's a best of 5 that you just want to delete from your memory. Because that is going to hurt you for a long time. And if you ever have to play him again and you think back about this series, your confidence is in the gutter immediately. What is happening, guys? Yesterday we had the shortest best of 3s ever. And now we are 1 hour in and 2 best of 5s are done. What the fuck? Leave it up to Reynor though to give us an exciting best of 5, guys. Dark versus Reynor. I'm telling you, this is where the fun starts. I didn't see those finals, but I know it was a 4-0. Well, I'm gonna give you guys 15 minutes because I actually do think that they will now take a break. Maybe after 1 short best of 5 they didn't want to take a break, but after 2 very short best of 5s, I assume they will take a tiny break. And Reynor was still memeing in the chat. A perfect performance by Serral. There is no other way to put it. I'll take a tiny break myself and we're gonna have a drink. Unfortunately, no whiskey, beer or anything else, but I'll see you guys real soon. 3rd best of 5 coming up. And I'm gonna make a promise that this one is going to be awesome. Yesterday, it wasn't that awesome. Masters Coliseum, that is. The weekly was awesome. And so far today, obviously, if you love great performances, Maru looked fantastic. Serral looked fantastic. They're gonna play against each other. That's fucking fun. Yeah, these first 2 best of 5s, not the coolest StarCraft ever. Tiny break, see you guys real soon. Dark vs Reynor, it's gonna be fucking cool. It's a promise. It will not be a 3-0. I promise it.